Hey, what's up, guys? I want to go ahead and do another video about From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. I had did a video when I watched the first episode of the series, and I was primarily negative in that video, and I wanted to go back and kind of touch on some of the things I did, and I'm going to try to keep this spoiler-free as well, so those of you that haven't seen it yet don't have to worry about spoiling much of anything, and unless you haven't seen the movie, because everybody knows what happens in the movie. Vampires. You can know that from seeing the poster art for the film. But I really love the film, and I think when I watched the first episode, it felt to me like they were trying to just redo the movie in a slower way. Maybe do the exact same thing as the movie and then play it out slower, add some backstory. That's what I thought they were trying to do, and that's not what they were trying to do at all, I don't think. I would recommend this to you guys if you haven't checked it out yet, especially if you're a horror fan, vampire fan, you like the movie, you're probably going to like this. And after the first few episodes, it does really take it in a different direction than the movie. This has a lot more depth to it. It goes a lot of different directions. It's aside from some of the same characters meeting at the Titty Twister bar, it's not really like the film at all. One of the first things that I complained about was the guy playing the George Clooney character, DJ Catrona, plays Seth Gecko. And I said that he was doing his best to do a Seth Gecko, or to do a George Clooney impression the whole movie, and the whole first episode I saw, and someone commented and said that's just how this guy acts. He's not trying to do an impression. That's just how he is. And I didn't know. I never, I'm not familiar with anything he'd done in the past, but all of that, it did really. After the first few episodes, I didn't really even notice that anymore. So, I guess, maybe that is true. Maybe he wasn't trying to do a George Clooney. I kind of feel like I watched that first episode kind of expecting to not like it, just because I didn't understand why they wanted to do that into a series anyway. As I said, the way I would have done it was to do something completely different, just involve vampires in the Titty Twister, different characters, everything. And, that's kind of what they did, but it's, some of the same characters. They add the characters. Again, I complained about, let me get his name right here, Wilmer Valderrama. I complained about him, not liking him, but I just haven't liked anything he's done before, I think is what it is. Like, I hated that damn character on that 70s show. Whenever I see him, that's what I think of. So, I think he did do a really good job in this series. When it comes down to it, they really fleshed out his character, and he's a new character that I don't think was, or if he was in the film, it was a very small role, and he's Carlo's primarily a new character in the film. And something else I want to touch on was the vampires. The way the vampires look are pretty much completely different, except for some weird forehead stuff going on. They do have the larger foreheads, but they're much more reptilian, snake-like, and that snake aspect plays a lot into the lore of the film. A lot of the backstory they give to the vampires and what exactly is going on. And at first, I didn't like it because I didn't really understand why it looked so much like a snake, but they did explain that a little bit more. And I guess it is kind of cool to see a little different aspect to something that you're expecting to see. So I guess that wasn't too bad. And the character Scott Fuller, who was, I don't remember the guy's name in the movie, but an Asian guy, and he again is played by an Asian guy in this movie, and it's the guy's adopted son. I didn't see why he needed to be Asian again, but whatever. That's arguing over a small thing. But Brandon Suhu is who plays him. He does a really good job. Robert Patrick plays Harvey Keitel's character in the movie, Jacob Fuller. Same basic deal with him. He's a preacher, but I love Robert Patrick and everything he does. Really really cool guy. The Terminator 2, but oh man, fucking. Well, before I even get there, you don't even get to meet the Fullers until like the third or fourth episode. You meet the Fullers, and it's the same deal. They're going to, they're taking this ride in this Winnebago to wherever the hell they go. You know, the Geckos, basically take them hostage. They're going down to Mexico to escape. Same as the movie, in that regard. But it felt like it was just took forever to get there. I just the whole time saying I want to be in the titty twister. I want to be there, and that is the one complaint I think I would say about this show, or one of the few complaints I have, is that it seemed like it took forever to get there. But just adding all that backstory, and one thing I wanted to mention was Jake Busey plays Sex Machine, Tom Savini's character from the film. And, initially I really hated that idea. I hated it when I saw his name in the credits before I watched it. And then, I gotta say it didn't bother me as much as it probably should have, but they flavor his character a little bit different. He's still got the cock gun, which has a pretty funny scene when he's using it. And, he's actually a professor, in this film. And that's a little bit different aspect of his character. But, was I don't know, the Buseys. I kind of got a bad taste in my mouth for that guy, because I've heard some stories that he's an asshole at conventions, and last year I was at Texas Frightmare. He was supposed to be there with his dad, and Gary was there. Everybody shit talks Gary being an asshole, but Jake didn't even fucking show up, so he missed the panel he was on, and I didn't care about getting his autograph, but I did want to hear him on the Frighteners panel, I believe, is what he was supposed to talk on. But anyway, back to this show. Jake Busey, I think, does a decent job, and Kate Fuller is played by Madison Davenport, and I think she does a really good job in this series. I'd seen her in some children's movies before, Horton Hears a Who, and Over the Hedge. I think she did a voice, and she's obviously much older, and has much more of an older look to her. She's kind of in that age where she's trying to come out of the child acting and play stronger female roles, grown up female roles, adult, and kind of a hard transition period for her, but she did a great job. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away about the plot, but I do like what they did, and the show, I'm assuming, did pretty well. I'm not real sure about the viewings or whatever, but I think it has been announced for a season 2, or at least they're planning on doing a season 2. And if you have Rey Network and you're not watching it, get there, because it's a pretty fucking cool network. It does stuff like, if I could make a network, I would do stuff like this. Like, I think this is really, it's what it launched with, was this From Dusk Till Dawn series, and they have a new series called The Director's Chair, which the first episode aired last week with John Carpenter. Really, really awesome interview with John Carpenter. It's Robert Rodriguez is actually interviewing these directors, and it's just really, really cool to watch. I got crazy amounts of respect for Rodriguez, and all the directors he's bringing in. Lots of grindhouse style directors, stuff like that. People that you may not hear of that often. John Carpenter's pretty well known guy, but I think coming down the line, they've got some stuff that may not have done that many interviews in the past. But the first episode I really enjoyed, the John Carpenter. So if you have an opportunity to check it out, check that out. And they show grindhouse movies all weekend, all sorts of old kung fu style movies. And I know this Friday they've got Escape from New York. So cool stuff going on over there. We got to support that kind of stuff, because it's not that much of it out there anymore. It's all becoming vanilla TV, and I really enjoy what he's trying to do here. I hope he's successful with it. And yeah, check this show out if you guys are at all interested. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.